All in all, it was a memorable 5 years for Eric. But would he be ready for university life? When we come back, our final installment will take a look at Eric in the later years. We'll be right back. It was now time for Eric to embark on a new adventure. Having left the past behind him, he was now looking to the future and his new life at the University of New Brunswick. Eric's winning personality would lead him to the position of Mackenzie House's social representative. He would be in charge of hosting social events to boost the House's school spirit, among other duties.
I saw it as a great opportunity to meet new people, to bring them all together, and to have some fun. And it was also a chance for me personally to take on more responsibilities. That's why I did it. Ask anyone, they'll tell you the same thing.
Free beer.
Beer. Free booze. Chance to embezzle.
In his sophomore year, Eric moved into a house with 4 friends. It was also at this time that Eric would meet a very special young lady.
Nancy introduced us, and I remember the first time I met her. I whispered to Nancy, "She's the one." I was head over heels about this girl.
I remember Eric calling me to tell me that he had met the girl of his dream. He couldn't wait for me to meet her. It was a very exciting time in his life.
I knew she was the one for me. I mean, it took me a long time to ask her out, but eventually I did.
The woman in question would say no, and Eric never saw her again. The news crushed him, and he fell into a deep depression in his basement. He tried his hand at music writing, and this very special footage captures Eric in the middle of a recording session.
But now I'm alone, and I'm flying solo. I hope one day the same thing happens to you.
Eric would graduate from the University of New Brunswick with a double major in political science and sociology. He would earn straight B's through his 3 years. But once again, it was time for Eric to make a very important decision. What to do now?
Eric always wanted to be on television. He grew up watching a lot of it. It's been a very important part of his life.
I learned English watching Sesame Street. Honest to God. I learned all my vowels and consonants by watching that show. I'll tell you the truth, I owe greatly lots to Sesame Street.
But which school would Eric apply to? To make that decision, he turned his attention to Toronto. He knew it was the place for him.
I had heard so much about it. Most prestigious broadcasting school in Canada. I mean, with the best professors, the best facilities, the best equipment. I mean, what more could one want? I was really excited to go to Humber College.
Eric would find out a week before coming to Toronto that it was not Humber College he would be attending. Instead, it would be Ryerson Polytechnic University. He went anyway.
Whatever. It was going to kill some time. They're all the same.
Eric knew how fortunate he was to be accepted, especially considering the high standards of the school's radio and television program.
Acceptance into RTA is very difficult, very demanding. We get about 1,300, 1,400 applications. We'll accept about 125 students. Of course, we expect good marks, and that's just a given. But we want to see evidence that students have explored their supposed interest in communications. We look for evidence of leadership. We want students who've been active in their communities. And we hope that we're preparing the next generation of leaders in communications in Canada.
Welcome back to another edition of my show. We don't have a name officially yet for this show, but it's the best show on this planet.
Okay, thank you. Eric, what do you got for us?
You know, Steve, the New Brunswick Lung Association continues to receive complaints from callers across the province regarding unsolicited phone calls from people raising funds for asthma. In some instances, people making the calls have implied funds support to the work of the Lung Association.
Okay, thank you, Eric.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Eric would begin attending Ryerson in September of 1999, but this time he wouldn't have Adam or Steve to watch his back. It would be up to him to meet new friends.
I remember the first day, I was so nervous. I mean, everything was brand new to me, and I was all alone. But everybody was so nice, I couldn't believe it. You know, I'm going to cherish many of these friendships for a long time. I just know it.
Who? Eric who?
Isn't he the one who always screws up?
Didn't he drop out last year?
Didn't he get kicked out?
It would be an adventurous 2 years for Eric, and even though things weren't always easy, with a little help from his friends, he knew somehow that things would turn out to be okay.
And welcome back to the show. I hope you enjoyed the commercial. Can you?
My fault.
Action!
Oh, jeez. You can't smoke in the studio.
And hopefully the children will be okay. This is Eric Gagnon reporting live for City TV. I don't know what I'm doing.
Eric has led a remarkable life, one filled with drama, adversity, and triumph. But where will he go from here? What could stop Eric from reaching his career goals?
Morals? Mediocrity.
Intelligent.
What goals?
Ethics. Nothing.
What's next for Eric? Well, after graduation, he looks forward to a career in broadcasting and is determined to one day achieve his ultimate goal, to be a talk show host.
Self-titled, Jory,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
That's
and
right.
That was really well. So where do you
Well-
get your inspiration? How does it work? I'm not a musician. She's hardly anything. So how Well, I have to agree with you. The ending was a disaster, and much of the first part of it wasn't that great either, actually.
Showing us some facial demonstrations that's going to make us look 10 years younger.
It's all natural, and Fern here is going to come back looking like she's 6 years old.
Yeah.
Jory, have a good night, everyone.
It's going to take a lot of work. Eric Gagnon, one of the truly extraordinary. I'm Jack Marlin. Join me again next week for another installment of Extraordinary Lives. Thanks for watching. Good night.